And now more than ever, Tennesseans want a strong commitment to the Second Amendment and the right to protect themselves.
My goodness, we have been looking forward to this kind of day for a long time. It's not gonna last. It's only here for today, and then it's gone tomorrow. But we're in shorts. I'm so excited. It's just so nice out and warm, and just feels so good to be outside. We've been outside all day. Been outside all day, working around the yard, just doing stuff with my pal. Huh? Have we just been doing stuff out here? We have, huh? Look at this. I had to brush her because just fur everywhere. Like, she's shedding like crazy, so I had to brush her. But yeah, just it is perfect out today. 65, couldn't be happier. Just being outside, doing stuff around the yard. I love it, absolutely love it. I gotta get some more eggs out of here. I'm gonna start selling eggs on the streets. Can't give them away anymore. Everybody's got them. Like, everyone's like, dude, we don't need any more eggs, Hoag. We got enough. I'm like, well, I got more eggs. They're like, we don't want the eggs. So I gotta go to the streets. I gotta sell them. Look at even Grandpa's just chilling outside. Just soaking it in. Just how beautiful it is. Oh, it's just amazing. All right, so, gotta get rid of the golf cart. Grandpa's old golf cart. I was hanging on to it. It was gonna be a project. I have too many projects on my hands right now. So this morning, cleaned all this up. This is all like old fencing, just a bunch of stuff that I use in the yard and whatnot. Came back here. Actually, what started it all was Pig. Pig busted out of the pen in the back here. So we used to have it come all the way back here, loop right here to the garage. She started playing with the wire, ended up breaking a bunch of it because this is the original stuff that I had her cage done with. This stuff is so flimsy, you could break it. So I figured I'd shore up her little pen a little bit here. Put the goat fence on here. This is welded so that way she can't break through this stuff. And then that leaves this nice wide open space. So I moved all the fencing stuff over here. For now, I'm gonna keep it here. But I wanna put a shed back here. I wanna build a shed. Maybe I'll build a shed, maybe I'll buy one of those metal, I don't know. We need to put a shed back here. It's a great spot for it. It's back out of the way. Put all the yard stuff in here, just get it out of the garage and just out of the yard and just have a nice little place for it. So I think we're gonna do that. Got to clean up all of this. So our fence line really is like right here, cuts there and then cuts across there. This is also overgrown. We talked to him. He's totally fine with us cutting and just ripping up this whole area. Clearing out the fence line so that way we can actually see the growth and then redo the entire fence actually, which needs to be done. Just can't even see because there's where that property line goes that way. There's a little bit of fence. Usually if you look around these properties, you'll find like the pink ties, and if someone does a survey or something, that's how they mark it, so you'll know where they go. But just so many fallen trees and just trash back there from people before that need to clean up. Just start getting it, cleaning up another section. But it's nice weather out, so it's nice to be outside. So this is cool. We got this whole area cleaned. Glad to check that off the list. But we got a whole switch. It's all changing. Tonight, rain comes in, rain all day tomorrow, temps drop, and then Friday, Saturday, and even Kentucky tomorrow, freezing rain. I've never experienced freezing rain before. It's my first time hearing about it and seeing it. It's not gonna hit or affect us, I don't think. But then again, Tennessee's weather changes all the time, so it may. But it's up in Kentucky, and basically it's when it's cold enough up top that it snows. It comes down, hits a patch of warm air, which melts the snow, turns it into the raindrop. The raindrop then comes back down, and then the surface temperature at the ground is freezing. So when the rain hits, it actually freezes on contact, which is a really bad thing for roads and driving and all those type of conditions, because it instantly freezes when it hits the road, and that can just make for some very dangerous and sketchy driving conditions. So I mean, thankfully we don't have to go anywhere tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to hit anywhere around us, but we do need to keep an eye on it just in case. And then it looks to get very cold this weekend, and then looks like snow next week. So just embracing the 65-degree day and just loving every bit of it, because I know it's not going to be here long. But warmer temps are around the corner, severe weather season is coming, just all kinds of stuff. But gotta take it each day as it comes, so I'm excited right now. And freezing fog is another one. I hadn't heard of freezing rain, and I haven't heard of freezing fog. I've never seen it before. But literally, it's this fog that comes through and just dusts. It's like Elsa came through and just... I think I have a video I took with my cell phone a while back. Let me see if I can find it. I'll put it right here. But yeah, that's what it looked like. It's just crazy. It looks like it snowed, but it wasn't. It was just fog that came through with enough ice and moisture in it, and just... And I think one of my favorite comments was, I can't do all the gray skies. Can't handle all that rain and just the gloominess, and just, it's so depressing, right? So I looked it up, and Tennessee averages 205 sunny days. 205 sunny days. That's pretty good. That's pretty good in my book, I think. I mean, I like low weather. I like rain. I like snow. I like it here. I like a good mix. So I, just for giggles, Google California, you know, how many sunny days in California? 285, that's it. Like a difference of 80 days, like on average. Okay. Well, the trade-off for happiness, less taxes, like better people, no, like everything that I've listed for 80 days, easy choice. Easy choice. I don't even have to think about that. How was the last 365 days staring at your ceiling? I don't know. I wouldn't know. I was outside. But our governor gave the State of the State address the other day, and I thought it'd be cool to highlight it, just to run over a couple of just quick highlights, that things that stuck out to me. You know, kind of reinforces, y'all know I love talking about Tennessee and how we embrace it and why, and the governor reinforces a lot of that, and I want to share that, and just to kind of go over some of the key things, because I mean, most of y'all probably will not have heard it, but just to know where our government stands, our state government in Tennessee. So here's a little bit of that.
Tragedy will not define us. It won't rob us of the opportunity that 2021 holds. In fact, this year holds its own unique place in our history as we celebrate 225 years of statehood.
So that's awesome, right? Tennessee, checking that 225 year box, boom, a lot of celebrations going to happen. You know, he's going to go around the whole state. He says he's going to visit every county, make an appearance, you know, and just... looking forward to a lot of fun things and people celebrating the state of Tennessee, checking that 225.
Across the world, this pandemic has exposed that when the government feels unprepared, it's natural to have the temptation to think that growing the size of government and reaching for the nearest mandate will save everything, but not in Tennessee. The worldwide data on government success is mixed, but in Tennessee, our approach has been consistent. Maintain local control wherever possible. Rely on people more than government, and keep a primary focus on what we can directly impact.
So that's big, him talking about the state of the pandemic, right? And how government reacts to it. And he faced a lot of criticism when it came to this pandemic, when this whole thing started, right? Because he is a very conservative governor, and he stuck to the Constitution. Imagine that, right? He left it up to local authorities and local jurisdictions to apply their own laws and regulations and how they're going to handle it. And then also left it up to Tennesseans. Like, hey, like Tennessee, pull together. We need to get through this, right? And that was one of my favorite things that he said. Rely on the people more than the government.
Deregulation has been one of the most single important functions in our pandemic response. One critical role of our executive orders has been to make it easier to do business amid the pandemic. A strong economy means many things for Tennesseans, and one of them is low taxes and fiscal stability for their government. A recent report shows that Tennessee is one of only 7 states to have positive economic growth since April of 2020, when much of our economy was shut down.
And how's that? One of 7 states to show continual economic growth since April 2020. One of 7 states. Didn't have to shut our businesses down, right? Didn't have to stop the American dream, right? Because again, we relied on the people of Tennessee, not the government of Tennessee.
We met here 2 weeks ago for a historic special session. It was bold, and it will change the lives of our children. I won't reiterate our accomplishments there, but I will add that the work continues for teacher pay compensation. During the special session, we allocated almost $43 million for teacher pay raises, and that was a step in the right direction. And the budget I'm submitting for your consideration this week recommends an additional $120 million be set aside for teacher compensation in the 21-22 budget.
And I think everyone can get behind that one, right? With the teachers, $43 million plus an additional $120 million. Woo! We all love our teachers, right? The teachers deserve it. The teachers deserve it. I don't think there's very many people that are gonna argue that. So that's exciting news for the teachers.
We're also adding $6.5 million to our mental health safety net, which will be focused on providing services for school-aged children struggling with mental health issues.
6.5 million to kids and mental health, like that's fantastic. I mean, I wish there was probably a little bit more there, but still, it's something and it's a start, and that's fantastic. There were plenty of other measures for children, but that was one that stood out to me that I absolutely loved.
I mentioned partisanship earlier. I want to address the recent election. There was no greater stage for partisan politics than the final months of 2020. Partisan divides impacting almost every aspect of American lives. I have great concerns about our country's faith in the integrity of our election process. Thankfully, our state has stayed well above that controversy. If every state ran their election process like Tennessee, there'd be no delays and no scandal. And with the elections behind us, we will watch with patriotic skepticism to see if politicians in Washington try to force more government on the states than the 10th Amendment allows. Tennessee knows what we need a lot better than the federal government does.
And that was probably my favorite point right there, was the election and the integrity of the election and just the overall scope of an election, right? And that statement of Tennessee knows what's best for Tennessee, not the federal government, is so applicable. It's my favorite statement. It's so applicable to the last 12 months, what has been going on. Just from the internet and everyone else, everyone around you, all these officials, all the medical officials, everyone who's anyone that wants to tell you what's best for you, because they know what's best for you. It's my favorite statement. My favorite statement. That was probably my favorite statement in the entire thing.
Perhaps one of the most important lessons that's come out of this season is the lesson that Americans need to understand, better understand, how their government works.
And yeah, and I totally agree with him that Americans need to know how their government works. Like this highlighted more than anything that many people were sleeping during U.S. government class in high school or just didn't care enough. But Americans need to know how this works. Because my favorite thing last year was everyone blaming Trump for all of these things, all these regulations, all these lockdowns, all these shutdowns, all these businesses that couldn't operate, the kids couldn't. That had nothing to do with federal government. That had nothing to do with Trump. That was all local. It's all local stuff, which is why local elections are so big, why your vote does count when it comes to local stuff. But yeah, that's a good one. People need to learn that government stuff.
Last year, I stood before you and presented one of the most aggressive pro-life bills in the country. And that bill passed, and it was an important day for our state, and certainly a memorable one for me. But being pro-life isn't just about defending the unborn. And we must also think about how to use our passion for this issue to improve the lives of struggling families. My administration is preparing a number of new initiatives that we'll announce throughout the year that will make Tennessee a national leader in foster care and adoption.
I'm excited to hear a little bit more about what the new initiatives coming are You know, you heard him say that he's very pro-life. It's definitely a topic I steer clear of. I do not get into that with anyone. That's I don't know. It's none of my business to be there, but looking forward to that and seeing what those other initiatives are to help foster and other struggling families.
And now more than ever, Tennesseans want a strong commitment to the Second Amendment and the right to protect themselves. And as such, I will again be reintroducing constitutional carry legislation.
And I know that one perked up a lot of ears. Constitutional carry. That perked up a lot of ears. I haven't got my permit yet. Y'all know that if you follow along, I registered for my permit a while back. Haven't got it yet. Got all the fingerprinting and all that done, but still waiting on that to come. But constitutional carry. It's only fitting. It's only fitting for Tennessee. Ain't that right, Riz? Yes, is that so?
This has been a very long and challenging year for our nation and for our state. There has been tragic loss of life and loss of incomes and loss of learning for our kids. In many respects, one of the most difficult years in recent history. But I've learned over my 61 years of life that God is a redeemer. He takes what is tragic and he makes it transformational. There are things that we never would have known, insights that we never would have been awakened to. Through times of trial, we become more purposeful, we become more resolute. We see things more clearly. We act with more intention. And we have a greater opportunity, more than ever, to seize the moment and shape the future. To see the needs of our neighbors around us, every single one of them, and to commit to serving them. Tennesseans, transformation will define us, not tragedy. And the state of our state is indeed hopeful. And I thank you for the honor that I have been given to serve alongside each one of you, this state and her people. I still believe, and I always will believe, in Tennessee. May God bless you, each one, and may God bless the great state of Tennessee. Thank you.
And closing with that, to seize the moment and shape the future. That was such a great state of the state address. Absolutely loved it. And you heard him reinforce some of the things that I've mentioned before, right? How everyone looks out for each other here, right? And for Tennesseans to see the needs of their neighbors, to recognize them, and then to act on them, right? It speaks volume. Like, that's one of my favorite things. Like, that was one of the best. Mace, what do you think, huh? Macy, what do you think? Look at all this fur. Look at all this fur. I just wanted to recap some of that for y'all, so that I figured a lot of people probably would not have heard that. But I'm gonna get back to work outside, wrap up a few more things. Oh, I am just gonna sit out here and soak up the rest of this weather while it's here. Oh, just gonna take advantage of all this. That's it from East Tennessee, y'all. Macy. 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 Hello, Macy. Macy.